Hey everyone, Trace here. So the other day I was thinking about other ways I could do stamping, other surfaces that I could stamp on other than paper. So I got to thinking how fun it would be to stamp on wood. So I gave it a try and wow, it's so much fun. I know I'll be stamping and coloring on a lot of different wood from this point on. So this is what I came up with for the first time. Isn't that so pretty and very easy, not difficult at all. What I did do is I had my husband sand my pieces of wood before I started stamping and coloring. It had some rough edges and things like that, and it made a difference. So I would definitely sand your pieces first. So what you're going to need is some wood pieces and some StazOn ink in black, and I have the Sargent Art colored pencils. Those work perfectly, and the Fiskars stamp blocks, and a Tombow Mono sand eraser, and some Brutus Monroe Squeaky Clean stamp cleaner. And so for this sample here, I used two different stamp sets. I used the May Made It, the Floral Kaleidoscope stamp set, and I also used Beloved Mom. And wouldn't that be a perfect Mother's Day present? So I'm going to do another one, and this one here, it is a larger piece of wood, and I'm going to put some flowers and the sentiment Incredibly Blessed, and that comes from this stamp set, Thankful, Grateful, Blessed, and it's a really large size. It's going to look so nice on that piece of wood. And I'm also going to stamp out some flowers to color around it, and that's from the stamp set Power Flowers, and this has a lot of really fun flowers to color. Okay, so what we're going to do is lay out your stamp on your block face down, so the sticky side is faced up. So sometimes it's difficult to place it where you want because it's kind of sticky on your fingers. So use a tool, any tool, your pokey tool or this ball tool, and just to move it around, it makes it a little easier. It doesn't stick. So kind of place it where you want it, straight as could be. And then all you want to do is take your block and just press it down and just pick up all of the stamps that you have on that surface. And now it's in the position where you want it. Then just get out your StazOn ink. And this is the actual first time I've ever used StazOn. And I know I'm a crazy crafter, but this stuff smells so good. It's so strange. It just, wow. Anyway, makes me want to have an amaretto coffee. It just smells amaretto-ish to me. Anyway, so ink up your stamp. And I do want to grab I want to grab a scrap piece of paper because it's a new stamp. I want to stamp it out first on scrap, and just stamp that out one time just to get it nice and conditioned. Okay, it's about good. Now I want to ink that up really well. Make sure you get all of the letters nice and inked up. And if you do happen to stamp out places that didn't stamp well, you can always go back with a pen and just touch that up. Okay, so now I've got that inked up, and I'm going to close up my ink first. I'm going to position as well as I can on the block, straight and centered, and press down. And this StazOn ink is ideal for wood surface. I researched it a little bit before I tried it out, and StazOn was the one to go with. I'm just making sure I really get every surface of that word. And as you can see, I didn't get it all, but that's okay. I'm going to go back and touch that up with a pen. Okay, so next I want to put some flowers. So while I was coloring in the parts that did not stamp well, I was just fixing them, kind of filling it in. I was using this pen here, and I do highly recommend that you try out your pen on the back side of your piece before you actually use it in the front. This particular pen, when I was filling it in, it actually bled. It started spreading, and so that didn't really work very well. So I switched to a regular, I think this is just a regular ballpoint pen, and that stayed put where I wanted it. So do test out your pens before you actually do it on your project here, and just use it on the back. That way, if it does bleed, you'll know for sure, and it won't mess it up. So anyway, because mine actually bled, so I fixed with it a little bit. I widened the edges of the letter a little more than normal, and I also used this sand eraser. And what a perfect surface to do that on is wood, because it just sanded it and buffed it out. So if you have a little ink spot or ink mark, anything that you kind of messed up on, use this mono sand eraser. But it also works fabulous on paper, but wood as well. So definitely have one of those on hand. So now I'm ready to put on some flowers. I'm going to ink that up and put the flowers. I'm going to have a few of them, one corner here, and I'm also going to put some leaves on and a smaller little flower, and I will get back with you. So I have stamped out. I'm about ready to color. That's one of the best parts. I do want to clean my stamps, and I want to show you how to go ahead and do that. And this ink here, because it tends to want to stay on, hence the name StazOn, you really want to use the British Monroe Squeaky Clean. And this ink is fantastic, but it just wants to stay there. It's very, very strong, if you will. So you want to go ahead and spritz a little bit of that on there, and use a baby wipe or a thick cloth to clean that off. You can see how much came off just using that Squeaky Clean, and it's fantastic stuff. I would highly recommend you have that in your stash, and it works so great. Anyway, okay, so on to coloring. So I have all of my pencils kind of laid out here. I'm going to just start coloring and having fun. Now, when you're coloring on wood, I would recommend that you don't press too hard, because you will dent the actual wood. And so if you want it to be brighter colors or a little more filled in, I do recommend layers of it. So just color a surface lightly and then go back and do it again, a second coat or second layer. And so, but that's it, and I will go ahead and color this and be right back. So I'm just about finished coloring. It is incredibly fun to color on the wood and stamping. You guys have to give this a try. And so I'm just going to finish up and talk in a couple of days. I'm going to give this a try on a different piece of wood. So don't miss that video in a few days and give this a try. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing, liking, and commenting. I really appreciate all of that. And I hope y'all give this a try and put it on my Facebook group, Create Along with Trace. I'd love to see what you make. And so, anyway, have a great day. Till next time. Bye-bye.